Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a special edition. As you know, of course, this channel is all about Seattle and Seattle real estate. You've seen our property videos and neighborhood videos, but it is also about Seattle and what to do here and updates throughout the city. You know, for example, like our beautiful new waterfront or the convention center, we have videos on all those things. And with the World Cup on the horizon, I thought it would be awesome to do a video on where to stay if you are going to be coming to Seattle, or even if you live here and you want to just be closer to the games, where to stay when the World Cup is happening. So let's talk about dates. The World Cup is from June 11th until July 19th. And I am so excited for soccer fans from all over the world to come to Seattle and experience a Seattle summer. It is the undisputed best city in the world for summertime weather. I know we get shade because of the rain, but our summers are absolutely incredible. You know, FIFA's talking about how, or maybe not FIFA, but people are talking about how it's gonna be so hot in LA, in New York, in Houston, and so on and so forth. Seattle summers are absolutely perfect. You're talking 75 degrees, slight breeze, not a cloud in the sky. It is just the absolute best place to be in the world. So those of you who are thinking about coming to Seattle, definitely put it on your list. Our weather here is absolutely incredible. And if you're considering coming to Seattle, you could also consider going to Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver, BC has really, really incredible weather in the summer as well. We share a very similar climate. So I would definitely recommend hitting both cities when you come to the Pacific Northwest. So Seattle is a huge soccer city, obviously with the Seattle Sounders and the Seattle Reign at the forefront of that. So soccer has been a part of my life since I was about 4. I played throughout my entire youth. I played premier soccer, high school soccer, club at Seattle University. So I've been involved with soccer for such a long time. I've watched every World Cup that has been around since I was born. So I am thrilled that Seattle is a host city. It is a dream of mine that the World Cup comes to my hometown. Now, being my hometown and working in real estate, I wanted to share where I think the best places to stay are for the World Cup 2026. So if you want a peaceful escape, to be right in the middle of the action, or be in a location where you can save a little cash, this video is for you. Speaking of peaceful escape, number 1 on our list is Bainbridge Island. Now, it might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you type in where to stay during the World Cup in Seattle, but I will tell you right now, a savvy traveler will really appreciate Bainbridge Island. It is the true Seattle Pacific Northwest experience, and it's only a 35-minute ferry ride from the waterfront of downtown Seattle to Bainbridge Island. A little bonus, you get one of the best views of the Seattle skyline taking the Bainbridge ferry to and from downtown. Now, the Bainbridge Island ferry drops right downtown, and you can literally walk maybe 10 or 15 minutes to the stadium. You don't have to worry about parking or how you're getting there. You just get off the ferry and walk to the stadium. Now, of course, the downside to this is the fact that you're at the mercy of the ferry schedule. So Bainbridge Island will provide that truly authentic Pacific Northwest experience. You have the marina, you have the waterfront, you have the restaurants on the water overlooking the Puget Sound, and you can even see downtown Seattle in the distance. It's just a really boutique feeling as you're walking through downtown Bainbridge Island. So going over the pros of Bainbridge Island, you have that scenic ferry ride, which is just so quintessential Seattle. You have that boutique feeling, and you really get to embrace that kind of Pacific Northwest charm. So the downsides or the cons to Bainbridge Island is the fact that you're on the ferry schedule. You're not going to be able to just come and go as you please to downtown Seattle. You are really committed to that ferry schedule. And if you miss the ferry, well, you're going to have to wait for the next one. Of course, coming with that boutique feeling and kind of laid back feeling, you're gonna have fewer hotel options. And while the World Cup will bring a lot of energy to Seattle, you're probably gonna find that your nightlife options are going to be very limited. Now, my suggestion of where to stay is the Eagle Harbor Inn. It is right there at the ferry terminal, right next to downtown Bainbridge. So it's super easy to come and go, and you don't have to worry about Ubering to the ferry terminal and so on and so forth. So before we move on, I do want to talk about where Lumen Field is, or Seattle Stadium is, relative to downtown Seattle. One of the most important factors when considering traveling to a city for the World Cup is, where's the stadium relative to the downtown, right? Just take New Jersey or New York Stadium, right? It's not even close to downtown New York or Manhattan. Whereas in Seattle, the Seattle Stadium is less than about a quarter mile, half mile from the downtown core of Seattle. You can go from Pike Place to the stadium in probably about a 10-minute bike ride. You could walk there in about 25 minutes, or of course, you can take the light rail to make it even faster. So locationally, the Seattle World Cup Stadium is super, super convenient, especially when compared to other host cities and where their stadiums are. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, the next suggestion of where to stay is downtown Seattle. I live downtown. I am stoked to be living downtown during the World Cup. And if you want energy and access to virtually everything Seattle has to offer, then downtown is the clear choice. Now, being downtown, you're gonna have access to everything Seattle has to offer. You can do all the touristy things, plus be super close to Seattle Stadium, right? You can easily go to the waterfront. Pike Place Market is gonna be right there. You can walk to Seattle Center, where the Seattle fan zone or the World Cup fan zone is going to be, and the outdoor watch parties are gonna be at Seattle Center at the base of the Space Needle. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Downtown Seattle is pretty small. We are a bit hilly, but you can easily walk from Seattle Center to the stadium in probably about 45 minutes. So very, very walkable, very doable, and being downtown will give you access to all of that. So the pros of being downtown is the fact that you have a ton of nightlife and energy, and this is really where the action is going to happen. So if you want that kind of atmosphere, downtown is the place for you. Another benefit of being downtown is you are at the transit hub. So if you want to go north, south, go straight to the airport, go wherever you need to go, you're going to have all of the Ubers, all of the bus options at your disposal, as well as the light rail. So the cons to staying downtown is the fact that hotels are just going to be more expensive just by default. It's going to be tough to find parking. So if you are renting a car, parking in Seattle is very expensive. So you need to just budget for that. And then of course, crowds. It's going to be very, very crowded. Obviously, all the action of the World Cup is going to bring so many people here, in addition to those of us who live downtown as well. So it's going to be a very, very, very busy atmosphere, busy time. But if you're here for the energy, then that's where you want to be. On the other hand, if you want something more laid back, you would obviously look at something like Bainbridge Island or our next option. So my suggestion of where to stay downtown would be the Hyatt Regency Seattle on Howell Street. This is an excellent, excellent hotel. It's right in the heart of downtown. You have access to everything. It's probably about a 5-minute walk to the Westlake Center and the light rail there, so you could easily access from the airport and just walk to the hotel. It's a huge hotel, so it's very likely that they're gonna have room. I would say it's kind of moderately priced for downtown. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. As always, you're gonna have those two extremes. If you really wanna go fancy, there is the Four Seasons Hotel downtown with epic views of Elliott Bay if you really wanna live it up during your World Cup Seattle experience. So third on the list is the Northgate area and around the Northgate station. Northgate is a neighborhood and community just about 15 to 20 minutes north of downtown Seattle, and you can easily access it via the light rail. Northgate is perfect if you want more affordable hotel rates, but still want that access to downtown and not feel so far. So from the airport, it will take about an hour to get to Northgate Station via the light rail. On the other hand, going from Northgate Station to Stadium Station or the International District Station, where Seattle Stadium actually is, it would take about 30 minutes. So you don't have to worry about parking if you're staying up in Northgate, but you do have to account for that transit time. A nice perk of being at Northgate Station and being in the Northgate area is you have the Seattle Iceplex, the Northgate Iceplex, where the Seattle Kraken NHL team actually will practice. So if you want to squeeze in some ice skating in the Seattle summer, you have that opportunity as well. This is essentially a brand new facility. It is really, really nice. So if you have time, definitely check it out. So the pros of staying at Northgate Station is the fact that you have that direct light rail access. It's going to be a lot more budget friendly just being outside of the downtown. And it's going to be a lot of new development. So the building you're probably going to stay at, the hotel you're probably going to stay at is probably going to be on the newer side. So you definitely have that newer aesthetic just because Northgate has really recently started to be built up. So the cons to Northgate is the fact that it's going to feel a bit more suburban. It's going to be a lot quieter. You're not going to have that action that you're going to be feeling and excitement you're going to have downtown. And it just has a little less character than some of these other areas. My suggestion of where to stay at Northgate is the Residence Inn by Marriott right at Northgate Station. It is literally across the street from the station. It is a newer hotel, so it has that going for it. I believe they also have kitchenettes as well. So if you really want to be cost effective, it could be an excellent option. Now we talked about Bainbridge Island, downtown, and Northgate. Now I do have a couple honorable mentions, one of which is Lynnwood. Now Lynnwood is about 30 to 35 minutes north of downtown Seattle. It is going to be an excellent budget-friendly option. The light rail has expanded all the way to Lynnwood, so if you're okay taking the light rail for a little longer amount of time, you could definitely see some cost saving there. There are hotels right around the Lynnwood Transit Center. And I would say to get from the Lynnwood Transit Center all the way to the International District Station or Stadium Station, it would be about 50 minutes, give or take. So you just have to plan accordingly for that. So my second honorable mention is Bellevue, Washington. It is right across the way, across the water of Lake Washington. There are two bridges that get you to Bellevue from Seattle. One is 520 and the other one is I-90. Now, the reason this is not in my top 3 is because you have to take a car currently to get from Seattle to Bellevue, or a bus as well. That being said, if you've been watching my channel, you know that the light rail has been expanding throughout the Seattle metropolitan area, and the light rail has actually already expanded over in Bellevue. They have a whole East Side Link light rail, and the last piece of that puzzle is that section of I-90 on the bridge between Bellevue and Seattle. Once that piece of the puzzle is complete, you will be able to take the light rail from downtown Bellevue directly to downtown Seattle and right at the footstep of Seattle Stadium. Staying in Bellevue would be awesome. It has its own downtown. You're not going to have quite the action that you're going to see and excitement that you're going to see in downtown Seattle, of course, but you're going to still really get a proper downtown experience if you were to stay in Bellevue. It will be a bit more posh, so you can expect that hotel prices will be noticeably higher. Bellevue has the first and only intercontinental hotel in the Pacific Northwest, or at least here in Washington. So if you really, really want to live it up and stay there, you definitely have that option. And of course, having that connectivity, fingers crossed for the light rail to finish in time, that would make Bellevue an awesome option. So if you want the excitement of downtown Seattle or Bellevue, or the peaceful vibes and coastal experience of Bainbridge Island, or the budget-friendly Linwood or Northgate options, Seattle has something for every World Cup fan. Let us know in the comments below which of these options suit your style. Where would you stay if you were to come to Seattle for the World Cup? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. We are going to be doing a lot more content like this around the World Cup and just Seattle in general. Of course, we are always here for your real estate needs. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe, and we will see you in the Emerald City for the World Cup.